It's the biggest shock of the 2026 World Cup so far. A tiny island nation, playing in their very first World Cup ever, walked onto the field against the European champions and refused to lose. This is the story of how Cape Verde stunned Spain. I'm Kik, and if you love an underdog, you are going to love this one. So, first things first, who exactly are Cape Verde? Well, they're a small group of islands off the west coast of Africa, with a population of just over 500,000 people. To put that in perspective, that makes them the third smallest nation by population to ever play at a World Cup. This was their first World Cup ever. The team is nicknamed the Blue Sharks, and just qualifying was a fairy tale. They earned their spot by finishing ahead of a traditional African powerhouse, Cameroon. For a country this size, simply reaching the World Cup was already the achievement of a lifetime. And then they saw who they'd play first: Spain. Now, this was supposed to be a mismatch. Spain are the reigning European champions and one of the favourites to win the entire tournament. They're packed with world-class superstars and a style of play that controls games completely. On paper, this was David versus Goliath. Cape Verde weren't just underdogs, they were the biggest underdogs imaginable. And for 90 minutes in Atlanta, the giant threw everything it had. Spain attacked and attacked and attacked. By the end of the game, Spain had taken 27 shots. 27. Cape Verde managed just 6. Spain peppered the goal. They hit the crossbar. They had 7 shots on target. Wave after wave of attacks crashed toward the Cape Verde goal. Even Spain's teenage superstar, Lamine Yamal, came off the bench to try and break the deadlock. But the Blue Sharks would not break. They defended with discipline, threw their bodies in the way, and held the line. And when the final whistle blew, the scoreboard read 0-0. Cape Verde had done the impossible. And at the heart of it all stood one man, the goalkeeper, Vozinha. This is the best part. Vozinha had turned 40 years old just 2 weeks before the World Cup. 40! And he produced the game of his life, making 7 incredible saves to keep Spain out. Imagine that. At an age when most players have long retired, Vozinha stood like a brick wall against the best attackers in the world. He was, without question, the hero of the day. So why does a 0-0 draw matter so much? Because for Cape Verde, this single point is the greatest moment in their entire football history. They didn't win, but holding the European champions felt like lifting a trophy. And remember, in the new World Cup format, with more teams advancing than ever, a result like this can be the start of a special run. Their group also has Uruguay and Saudi Arabia, so this draw keeps Cape Verde's dream very much alive. This is exactly why we love the World Cup. It's not always about the superstars and the favourites. Sometimes it's about a tiny island, a 40-year-old goalkeeper, and a team that simply refused to give up. That's the magic. Were you cheering for Cape Verde? And how far do you think the Blue Sharks can go? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Give this video a kick, a like. Hit subscribe and tap the bell for more Kick and Tell.